On, I'm Neha Bharadwaj-Alter, and it was a good day for Indian badminton stars. Double Olympic medalist PV Sindhu and Olympic debutant Lakshya Sen have earned their place in the pre-quarterfinals, while Sindhu had an easy victory over her Estonian opponent. It was Lakshya Sen who scripted a brilliant win over world number 4 Jonatan Christie to enter the knockouts. Here is all that happened, and we've got to begin with who else but Lakshya Sen. He stunned world number 4 Jonaton Christie 21-18 and 21-12 to break into the round of 16 at the Paris Olympics. Playing his first Olympics, this is arguably one of the biggest wins of Lakshya's career, as Christie was built to beat him and advance to the round of 16. The 22-year-old from Almora displayed great maturity and tactical acumen to outwit Christie, the reigning All-England and Asian champion, 21-18, 21-12, in what turned out to be a lopsided contest by the end. Christie started strongly, taking an early 5-0 lead and extended it to 8-2. Lakshya was in playing the first game from the side where the AC draft was making it difficult for him to keep the shuttle from going wide. He quickly realized he had to keep the shuttle flat and tried to hit more smashes, while Christie looked to slow down the rallies and used his cross-court shots at the corners to trouble the Indian. Sen targeted Christie's weak forehand to his advantage. He engaged Christie in fast and flat exchanges to move to 14-12, and the latter slowed down the pace with a grueling rally, which he won with a push at the backline. The Indonesian then drew parity at 16-all with a precise cross-court smash, which a diving Sen couldn't reach, and soon eked out a 2-point lead at 18-16. A straight smash from Sen was followed by a wide smash from Christie, and it was 18-all. A perfect flat push and then an incredible behind-the-back return in the middle of the next rally gave Sen the game point, and he converted it easily to earn the bragging rights. Then he switched the side for the next game, and initially Sen made a few errors, tying at 3-all, but quickly regained control, building a 10-5 lead. Christie, in desperation, made more errors, and Sen extended that lead to 18-12, finally winning the game with ease, and with that the match. Sen had defeated Kevin Cordner, Tokyo Olympic semi-finalist, in the opening Group L match on Sunday, which was deleted after his Guatemalan opponent pulled out due to a left elbow injury. In fact, in the 4 encounters before this against Jonatan Christie, Lakshya Sen had lost all of them. So this is a huge win for him and for India. Targeting her third straight medal at the Olympics, PV Sindhu stormed into the pre-quarterfinals of the Paris Games women's singles competition after beating Kirsten Kuba of Estonia in straight games today. The two-time Olympic medalist Sindhu demolished the Estonian girl 21-5, 21-10 in 33 minutes in a second and last Group M match. The 29-year-old, who had beaten Maldives' Fatima Abdul Razak 21-9, 21-6 in a first match, topped the group. The winner of each of the 16 groups qualifies for the round of 16. Sindhu had previously won a silver at the 2016 Rio Games and a bronze in the last edition in Tokyo. Just like in a first match, Sindhu did not have to really toil much, as the gulf in class between the two players was evident. The Estonian, who was ranked 73rd in the world against the 13th ranked Indian, was completely out of sorts in the first game, with Sindhu pocketed in 14 minutes. The 27-year-old Kuba then gave a fight in the second game, making a lot more retrievers, but Sindhu was just too good for her. Ultimately, Sindhu quickly seized the initiative and leveled the score, and Kuba did not throw in the towel. She engaged the Indian in longer rallies. There was one rare moment when Sindhu was stretched to the full near the net, and Kuba smashed the shuttle beyond the reach of the Indian. But the vastly experienced Sindhu was in her element soon after. 2 cross-court smashes gave Sindhu a 15-6 lead, and from there on, it was all over for the Estonian, who saved 2 match points before surrendering. On to table tennis. Indian table tennis player Shrija Akula entered the pre-quarterfinals of the Olympic Games after a hard-fought 4-2 win over Singapore's Jian Zheng in the women's singles round of 32 match here on Wednesday. Shrija won the match 9-11, 12-10, 11-4, 11-5, 12-10, 12-10 to join compatriot Manika Batra in the pre-quarterfinals. An unprecedented feat in the history of Indian table tennis. Akula, who was celebrating her 26th birthday, lost the first game against the Singapore paddler 11-9, but she came back strongly to win the next three games 12-10, 11-4 and 11-5. Although Jian took the next game 12-10, Shrija sealed the match in the sixth game with a 12-10 scoreline. Batra had made the pre-quarterfinals on Monday. On to shooting, and another Indian shooter has made it to the finals as Swapnil Kusale moved into the 50-meter rifle three-position title round after finishing 7th in the qualification round. Kusale shot an aggregate of 198 with 2 rounds of 99 each in the kneeling position, 197 with scores of 98 and 99 in the prone position, and 195 with 98 and 97 in the standing position. Top 8 shooters in a field of 44 have made it to the final round. Kusale finished with an overall score of 590, while China's Liu Yukun finished with a total of 594 points at the first spot, followed by Norway's Jon Herman Hegg in the second spot with 593. The third place finish was secured by Ukraine's Serhiy Kulish with 592 points, while France's Lukas Kirhis was fourth, followed by Serbia's Lazar Kovacevic and Tomasz Bartnik of Poland in the sixth position. The last place was taken by Yuri Privatsky from the Czech Republic. Kusale trains under Tejaswini Sawant in Kolhapur. And more good news coming for the Indian contingent. Tokyo Olympics bronze winner Lovlina Borgohain. She began her quest for a second successive Games medal confidently as she outpunched Norway's Sunniva Hofstad in the opening bout here on Wednesday. Borgohain prevailed 5-0 in the contest, and she is now just one win away from adding to her Tokyo bronze, which was claimed in the 69-kilogram category. This time she's competing in 75, and she achieved a feat that is unprecedented in Indian boxing, but her path is not an easy one as she will take on top-seeded Chinese Li Kuan in the last 8 stage on August 4th. A win in this bout would ensure at least a bronze medal for her. Her performance on the day was in a short one, while her rivals seemed keen to draw her into a slugfest. Borgohain kept her composure and distance to land clean blows on counter-attack. The Indian also had to deal with plenty of clinching by Hofstad, who came across busier of the two boxers, complete with a perilously low guard. But the Assam boxer didn't fall into the trap and attacked the Norwegian with precision by drawing her in. Borgohain has been in fact handed a tough draw, but the wiry pugilist has shown the ability to rise above it in her past performances, most notably in Tokyo, where she defeated world champion Shen Nian-chin in the quarterfinals to secure herself a bronze. Her opponent on August 4th, Kian, is a silver medalist from the Tokyo Games in the middleweight, which is the 75 kilogram division. She had also won a bronze in the 2016 Rio Games and claimed a gold medal in the 2022 Asian Games in Hangzhou, China. The Indian boxing campaign at the Games has been mixed so far, with 3 of the 6 in contention already out of the competition. Those ousted early include former Asian Games champion Amit Pangal, Preeti Pawar and Jasmine Lamboria. Remaining in the fray, apart from Borgohain, are the debutant duo of world champion Nick Zareen in the 50 kilogram category and Nishant Dev, men's 71 kilogram category. And Tuesday, like I've been saying, turned out to be a disappointing day for India in the boxing ring, and as all 3 Indian boxers in action suffered defeats. Amit Pangal's campaign at the Paris Olympics mirrored his experience at the Tokyo Games as the seasoned boxer once again made an exit at the pre-quarterfinal stage, while debutantes Jasmine Lamboria and Preeti Pawar were also ousted on Tuesday night. The 28-year-old Pangal suffered a shock 1-4 split verdict loss to Zambia's Patrick Chiniemba. Pangal had defeated the same opponent en route to his Commonwealth Games title in 2022. Commonwealth Games bronze medalist Jasmine's maiden Olympic campaign also went up in smoke as she went down by a 0-5 unanimous decision to Tokyo's silver medalist Neshthi Petecio of Philippines in the 57-kilogram round of 32 bout. But the performance of the day belonged to Preeti, who lost 2-3 by a split verdict despite putting up a fearless display in her 54-kilogram pre-quarterfinal bout against the reigning Pan-American Games champion and world silver medalist Yeni Marcela Arcia of Colombia. But after losing the first round 1-4, the 20-year-old Asian Games bronze medalist made an impressive comeback. She used her height advantage and tried to connect some jabs, but her late flourish wasn't enough to impress all the judges. This is what the world was waiting for. Simone Biles was back in action. She clinched her 5th Olympic gold medal as she made a triumphant return to the women's gymnastics team final at the Paris Games, reinforcing her status as one of the greatest athletes just 3 years after withdrawing from the same event at the Tokyo Games. Biles, the most decorated gymnast of all time, earned the United States their 11th Olympic medal in the women's team event with a solid performance on all 4 apparatus after starting off on the vault, from which she soared high into the air while executing the Cheng to earn 14.900 points. With the crowd rallying behind Biles and her teammates in the absence of the French team that failed to qualify for the final, the United States finished an impressive 5.802 points ahead of second-placed Italy, while the Italians won their first Olympic medal in women's event since 1928. An incredible high-flying vault by Rebecca Andrade landed Brazil the bronze, their first ever medal in the discipline. All right, after days of delays and uncertainty over water quality in the Seine River, triathletes at the Paris Olympic Games finally swam in the Seine River as the women's and men's races went on today with a swim in the famed Paris waterway. The decision to go ahead with the Seine swim for the triathlon competitions was a big win for the city. Olympic organizers and the athletes together, officials undertook this ambitious plan, including $1.5 billion in infrastructure improvements to clean up the long polluted Seine. The organizers had confirmed early on Wednesday that the latest tests of the water showed compliance with quality standards. Elevated levels of bacteria in the river had pushed by a day the men's race, which was originally planned for yesterday. Test events meant to allow the athletes to familiarize themselves with the course that had already been cancelled due to poor water quality on Sunday and Monday. The water quality in the Seine directly affected by rainfall that can lead to wastewater runoff flowing into the river. Heavy rains during Friday's Olympic opening ceremony and most of the day Saturday had deteriorated the water quality. Despite announcing cancellations or postponements, the organizers continued to express confidence that the swims in the Seine would go forward. For several days, they did not publicly release the data on levels of E. coli and other bacteria that contributed to their decisions. High levels of E. coli in water indicate contamination from sewage. Most strains are harmless and some live in the intestines of healthy people and animals, but others can be dangerous. Even a mouthful of contaminated water can lead to diarrhea, and the germ can cause illnesses such as infections in the urinary tract or in the intestines. Organizers now have said the marathon swimming races scheduled for 8th and 9th of August could be relocated if needed to the other stadium in the Greater Paris region, which already hosts rowing and canoeing competitions. and can accommodate up to 15,000 spectators. So this is a big news for and a big relief, in fact, for the Olympic organizers. Lady Gaga surprised her fans in Paris, some of whom had been waiting for hours to see the pop star. Outside her hotel, she came out of an SUV sunroof with a laptop and played 2 audio tracks from her upcoming album. Her fans said they were ecstatic to have watched their favorite artist present their new music. Even though she revealed some extracts, the American singer and songwriter has not yet publicized the release date of her next album, leaving fans in suspense.
The fact that she came to France, we didn't expect that she would perform at the Olympics.
An Olympic performance.
We are already flattered that she came, that she sang in French. And I don't know, we feel like we were first to hear something. We're happy.
We are privileged.
Now, in Olympics, a majority of athletes play for pride of being an Olympian. Top-ranked ones go for a coveted place on the podium for precious medals, but 2-time diver from the USA, Alison Gibson, is in Paris on a larger mission of funding an entire school in Kenya. Take a look at this story.
2-time U.S. Olympic diver Alison Gibson has more than just a medal in her sights this summer in Paris. She has a larger mission to get an entire Kenyan school sponsored before the end of the Olympic Games.
Leading into Olympic trials and through Olympic trials, I thought, wow, if I make the Olympics, I can build an initiative of, hey, let's get every child sponsored.
The motivation came after Gibson met Mary Kamau, executive director of the charity Missions of Hope International, that builds schools and hospitals in Kenya. The two sparked up a conversation and Gibson decided to help.
So I sponsored a child, and I was sitting there thinking, and I'm like, man, I want to do more with this, I want to do more with this, I want to help. And so I remember going into my Olympic trials final, and all I could think about was like, I was like, God, please help me make the Olympics so that I can launch this.
Gibson made it to Paris, and her next goal was trying to convince others at the Games to sponsor children. That included NBA legend LeBron James, who was the United States flag bearer during the opening ceremony.
And he said, okay, give me your phone, open your notes. So I did. I gave him my phone, I opened my notes, and he typed in the name of the CMO of his foundation, and he said, email her. He said, I can't make any promises that we'll do anything, but he said, email her and we can see what we can do.
Missions of Hope International was started by Kamau with her husband in 2000. The charity has now set up 35 schools with over 30,000 students in Kenya.
In the last 25 years, we have learned a lot of lessons, but one thing that we have learned is that the needs of these communities, the most vulnerable communities, are overwhelming.
Gibson went into retirement after a disappointing finish at the Tokyo Olympics, but she decided to return to use her platform to transform the lives of others.
I am so excited for her. I'm happy for her. I'm praying for her like crazy. I want her to be able to win at the Olympics. I feel like she's so much part of my life now. She's part of the Missions of Hope International and the changes that we are making in this world, impacting the lives of the children. And she is part of this story.
A number of Paris Olympic goers are taking part in the competition's untold sport, pin trading. Volunteer Kiefer Uksulainen, he traded pins at the Olympic Collector's House, while American journalist Scott Bergman managed a swap with gymnast Simone Biles. Take a look at this one.
Olympic goer Kiefer Uskalainen is one of many taking part in the competition's untold sport, pin trading.
Hi there, my name is Kiefer. I'm from Canada. I'm at my first Olympics here in Paris 2024 as a volunteer and also as a first-time pin trader.
Pin collecting became popular at the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics and has since grown with each Games. Hundreds are available at Paris 2024 from national organising committees, sporting federations media companies, sponsors, and the city authorities.
It's sort of treated as the untold sport, certainly by spectators, volunteers, athletes trade them in the Olympic Village.
Some are rare, like this heart-shaped pin celebrating gymnast Simone Biles. American journalist Scott Bregman managed to swap with Biles after her training.
I saw she posted the pin on her Instagram, and I just knew I had to have it. So I kind of flagged her down on the mix zone a few days ago and was lucky enough to get her to come over, and we were able to swap pins.
Meanwhile, Uskalainen's lanyard is encrusted with some 30 pins.
Do you have pins for me?
Yeah, I can, just for you.
He carries a pouch of them in his bag to give out as gifts, meeting traders and sellers at the Olympic Collector's House.
Call that a fair trade.
Thank you
so much.
It's a beautiful pin.
Here we go. Over the next week or so, like, I just want to have more of those interactions. I want to have more of those little memories of like, oh, I was here when I got this, or I remember I bumped into this person and we had this little pin interaction. And so really just meeting people from around the world, because like that's what the Olympics is. It's bringing everybody together, and pin training is just another way to do that.
Oh, okay.
All right, with that, time for us to wrap this bulletin up. But as we go, this is a report about the US boxer Janier Lozano, who is making her Olympic debut at Paris. When she walks into the ring on August 1st, her family will be around to support her. No big deal, but just see what all the family had to do to meet their bill for being in Paris for the Games. Goodbye.
When U.S. boxer Jennifer Lozano makes her Olympic debut at the Paris Olympics on Thursday, her family will be there to cheer her on, thanks to a fundraising push back in her hometown of Laredo, Texas. After Lozano earned the golden ticket to the Games last October, her family set about selling shirts and asking for donations.
And trying to get that actual support to get those funds was very hard. But I'm just glad last minute it was very possible. Everybody started buying, other businesses started pitching in, and you know, coming into the buying the shirts and donating to the GoFundMe and just donating personally, like that meant a lot to me. So now my family's here.
The money raised, some $6,000, was enough to help pay for 7 members of the family to fly to and stay in the French capital. Lozano is currently Team USA's top 50 kg boxer, but her road from a small border town to the Olympic Games hasn't been an easy one.
They call me the troublemaker because of my grandma. My grandma gave me that nickname when I was a kid because I'd always be doing like a bunch of dumb stuff. Like I was always making or causing trouble like at the house or stuff like that. I'm the youngest of 3, so I was always everywhere. And also I got bullied a lot when I was a kid. I was very overweight and they would make fun of me because of my accent. My first language is Spanish, so when I would try speaking English, I would try forcing it a lot. So, you know, kids would just make fun of me because of that. Kids being kids, and it would get to me, so I would fight a lot in the street and stuff, and then that's why I got into boxing, to try and defend myself.
The first thing the 21-year-old did when she qualified for Paris was to run to her mother to hug her. Lozano hopes to do the same in Paris with her first ever gold medal.
These are my people. They've seen me sweat, they've seen me cry, they've seen me bleed. You know, they've seen that process that nobody else, you know, on social media or like on the team or anybody else has really seen. So having them here cheer me on and hearing them from the stands, you know, that's everything I could have ever dreamed of or asked for.
Over 20 healthcare trailblazers and leaders, 6 engaging sessions, 6 hours of engrossing conversations, top trending healthcare issues. The Healthcare Summit 2024, an initiative by the TV9 Network and South First. Streaming on 3rd of August, only on News9.
20,000 people dead and counting. What's happening in the United States of America is unprecedented. You will have to pay for this.
Kerala's scenic Wayanad district is going through its worst nightmare. Catastrophic landslide struck in the early hours of 30th July. Home lie in ruins. Vehicles were swept away by flood waters. Many villages are cut off from the outside world. Triggered by rainfall, the landslides have left at least 70 people dead and hundreds feared trapped. The villages of Mudukki, Churamala, Attamala and Norupuzul have been hit the hardest. Shift in topography, massive boulders and uprooted trees have made rescue operations a race against time. Why have the Wayanad landslide caused so much destruction? News9 Plus decodes. Unfortunately, the nightmare isn't over. A red alert has been issued. Over 250 rescue personnel are working tirelessly amid the ongoing downpour. Army and Air Force have all been called in. The Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan and the Prime Minister Narendra Modi have all announced all possible assistance to the victims and compensations for the deceased. But how often do we see this in Kerala? Landslide related destruction is not new to Kerala. Year after year, it's the same story. Between 2018 and 2023, more than 1,100 lives were killed in landslides. Close to 2 lakh people are living in relief camps today. But why does Kerala face such disastrous landslides? Single day rainfall and accumulated rainfall over a few days are often the primary trigger. For instance, the Puttamalla landslide in 2019 was triggered by just 1 day's rainfall of 244 mm. The cumulative impact of water on topography, geology, soil and vegetation also makes the region vulnerable. The Western Ghat has been destabilized by human activities such as deforestation, unregulated construction and quarrying. In fact, over 1,400 quarries are located in high landslide hazard zones. There are steep slopes and blocked drainage channels. Then there is the fact that all dams in Kerala reach their full reservoir levels by July. So when multiple dam gates open during heavy rains, it ends up aggravating the landslide risk. But why do we react and not act in time? As we watch Wayanad struggle, we must ask ourselves, why do we allow this to happen year after year? Why are preventive measures not taken seriously? The authorities need to act, not just react anymore. It's time for a comprehensive approach to disaster management, sustainable development and stringent regulation of human activities in eco-sensitive zones. Only then can we hope to prevent such tragedies in the future. For the people of Wayanad and Kerala, the fight is far from over. As the affected struggles to survive and rebuild their lives, let's keep them in our prayers.
"20,000 people dead and counting. What's happening in the United States of America is unprecedented. You will have to pay for this."
Who am I?
Nobody can crack that mystery.
There is a certain expectation of me.
That's the only contradiction.
Life itself is stranger than fiction.
I was a perfectly normal person born in an abnormal world.
I really didn't understand why is it different.
Just imagine a child who is bullied every day.
Boys school में कुछ लड़का लोग मेरे साथ sexual abuse किए.
मुझे तेरे बारे में सब पता है और मैं तेरा रेप कर लूँगा.
You also start to stigmatize.
अरे ये तो time pass है.
Sex doesn't come in the picture. Sex comes later.
But nothing can bind life.
We have to reclaim the lost position. We fought for more than 10 years.
Today I'm the mother of the industry.
I'm a first transgender member judge.
You can't walk in everybody's shoes.
This is what I'm comfortable with. They just are what they are.
You become the light yourself.
That is the change that I was looking for.
When I recognize myself, it's a small story, but it's an interesting one.
Welcome to News9 Live, and you are watching On Point with me. Before I introduce you to the On Point one, let me take you through some major headlines. Tensions skyrocket in West Asia after Hamas chief Ismail Haniyeh is killed in an airstrike in Tehran. Iran vows to avenge the killing. Israel targets Hezbollah in Lebanon, kills Hezbollah military operations in charge Ford Shukr in a direct strike in Beirut. The death toll rises to 175 in Wayanad. 191 people are still missing. Massive relief and rescue operations are underway. Political blame game over Wayanad tragedy. Amit Shah informs Parliament that the state ignored early warnings. Kerala CM Vijayan says the IMD's red alert for rains came on morning after the landslides. Rain chaos in Lucknow as well. Even the Legislative Assembly complex gets flooded. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath gets escorted out of the complex from another gate. UPSC cracks the whip on prohibitionary IAS officer Pooja Khedkar, cancels a provisional candidature and debars her from all future exams. Blow to Biju Janata Dal. Prominent party MP Mamta Mohanta resigns from primary membership of the party in the Rajya Sabha. For India at Olympics, shuttlers PV Sindhu and Lakshya Sen as well as archer Deepika Kumari march into the pre-quarterfinals. Boxer Lovlina is one win away from a medal. Who will be the Vice President pick of Kamala Harris? Democratic nominee is set to launch a 4-day tour from Philadelphia with her running mate. In On Point 1, we will discuss the escalation of the caste row which was sparked after Anurag Thakur's remarks on Rahul Gandhi's caste in the parliament. On Tuesday, Bharatiya Janata Party MP Anurag Thakur questioned the Congress over its demand for caste census and took a jibe at leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi.
तो ओबीसी की बात, जनगणना की बात बहुत की जाती है। माननीय सभापति जी, जिसकी जात का पता नहीं, वो गणना की बात करता है।
Rahul Gandhi accused Thakur of abusing him and reiterated his commitment to ensuring a caste census.
सर, जो भी इस देश में दलितों की, आदिवासियों की, पिछड़ों की बात उठाता है, जो भी उनके लिए लड़ता है, उसको गाली खाना ही पड़ता है। और मैं ये सब गालियां खुशी से खाऊंगा।
Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav also jumped into the defense of India alliance.
इनसे ये पूछना चाहता हूं, आपने जाति कैसे पूछ ली, ये बताइए बस। आप जाति कैसे पूछ सकते हैं? आप बताएं, जाति कैसे पूछ सकते हैं? आप पूछ के दिखाओ जाति तुम। आप जाति कैसे पूछोगे तुम? कैसे पूछोगे जाति?
However, this wasn't the end of the controversy. Congress MPs stormed into the well of the House demanding apology. The Congress also filed a privilege motion against Prime Minister Narendra Modi for encouraging Anurag Thakur by sharing his video on social media, including the controversial part which was expunged by Lok Sabha Speaker. BJP slammed the Congress and questioned why and how come is it wrong to ask Rahul Gandhi his own caste when he goes around asking people's caste.
कांग्रेस पार्टी ने जो हरकत किया है, मैं उसका निंदा करता हूं। कांग्रेस पार्टी सुबह शाम दिन रात जाति करते रहते हैं। जब मीडिया वालों को मिलता है, उनका भी जाति पूछते हैं। वो मिलिट्री के लोगों के पास जाके जाति पूछते हैं। यहाँ भारत जोड़ो यात्रा करता है, वो हर आदमी को जाति पूछते हैं। जाति